guys, welcome to the day one, and today we are going to be building a project called Random Password Generator. What this program does is it helps us to generate password randomly, and in the password it consists of alphabets, and these alphabets are upper case and lower case. That is basically capital letter and small letters. Then it also contains numbers and also symbols. So the password contains a combination of these and one of the things it does is that it helps you to generate a strong password depending on your options. For example, now what this project or this code is going to do is that it's going to allow users to give input. Maybe they want this amount of alphabet in their password. They want a particular numbers for the number they want in their alphabets. Then symbol, also the number of symbols they want their password to have. Okay, now, and this is how we can actually build this project. The first thing is, okay, now I've done some things to make it easy. For example, I've generated a list that contains alphabet, also a list that contains number, and also list that contains symbols. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is now to be able to get input from the users. Okay, now let's say now we're trying to get input from the users, and the next thing we can use to create a variable. So let's say we want to ask for the number of letters that we want in there. So we use the input keyword. So input keyword in Python is used to get information from the user. So we tell them to enter the numbers of letters they want in their password. Okay, and we have to save this as an integer, because when you use the keyword input, when you use the input function, you get your request in form of strings. Okay, so you have to save it as an integer. Then the next one is to know the number of symbols that we will need. So we'll get you can also create the input for this, and we ask them to enter the numbers of symbols they want, and finally we tell them for the number, okay, the numbers of figures, or can say digits rather. Okay, so we can have so you can tell them to enter the number of digits you want. Now let us see how this thing really works. So what we are going to do is, let's test it out and just print out what we have. So let's print the reason why we are doing this is, while you're writing your code, you have to keep testing to see how well it's doing. So let's run this code and see what it does. So you can see now it's asking us to enter the number of letters we want, and let's say 4. and again enter the number of symbols, let's say 5, and also enter the number of digits, so let's say 2 digits. You can see now, so it's printing it out 452. So our code is working perfectly. Then we can continue with the next step. Now what we are going to do next is we are going to, based on the requests we get from the users, we are going to use that to get the letters, the numbers and symbols from the list we have created. And in order for us to do that, we can use something we call a for loop. So we can say for, let's just say, character in the range of that particular number we are getting from the user. For example, let's say the user enters 5, that it needs 5 letters to be in that password. So now it's set 5. So now in the range of 5, basically, so in the range of 5, what we want to do is that we want to random dot choice. So we want to pick from the alphabet. Okay, now let's just save it. Let's save this in something we call password. Let's just say password and see how it's working. In password and see how it works, and let's print this out. Print password. Let's print it out and see. Okay, here you can see, let's say 4, and let's say 3, and let's say 2. So you can see that here we have 0, letter O, capital letter Z, A, and small letter Z. If you run the code again, you notice it's going to give us something different. For you can see now we have small letter L, F, H, and capital letter L. So this one will help us now. But what we can do is, instead of printing it out, what we do is we can create an accumulator. So we can call it password list. So what this thing is going to do for us is going to help us accumulate. Now instead of just printing out, we are going to be adding it to that password list. So let me call it password list. So I'll call it password list. So we create it as an empty list. So when we are, because we are going to look through to get for alphabet, numbers and symbols. So this is just for letters. Then what we do is that we append, instead of printing it out, we append to that. So you can say password list, then dot, we append. So we append, and now for us to append, we have to put it in brackets. So we are appending, and this is going to be random dot choice. So we append to the list. Then we do the same thing for now for symbols. So you can say for character in the range of also symbol 2. We do that for symbols. Then what we want to do again, we'll say random dot choice. By the way, random dot choice is how to randomize maybe strings. Okay, so we use it to randomize strings, and we want to randomize for symbols. And we also append it. So we can say, in order for us to append, we can say password list dot append. So okay, then finally we can say for character in also in the range of digits. Okay, yes, digits. Then we do the same thing. Okay, now this is it. What we can do now is we are done. So what we can do is we can now print out our password list and see what we have. So let's print out the password list. So we can print it out and see how it goes. Okay, let's see. Here we go now. Let's put 3 and let's put 4 here. Let's put 2 here. Okay, as you can see now, for letters you see that we only have 3 letters. Then for symbols we have 4. That is the hash, the ampersand, the asterisk, and two asterisks. Two asterisks. Then for the numbers we have 5 and 3. Okay, which is cool. Now, but there's a problem with our password. It is not shoveled. Let me put it out. It is not shuffled. So there's another method in that you can use with a list that shovels a list. So it will just shove it randomly. Okay, so that we will not be having alphabet first, followed by symbols and followed by numbers. So we can do that. How do we do it? We can just say yes. So we can say random.shovel and we put the password list. Now if I print out this list, let me print it out. If I print out the password list, you will notice that first I'm going to print out 2. So the first one is the one that is not shoveled. So this one at line 23 is not shoveled. Then the one at line 25 is shoveled. So you see what happens. Okay, so let's say we have 5, 5 and 5. So you notice that the first one at line 23 prints out first alphabet, followed by symbols and followed by numbers. Then the second one, after we shoveled the password list, then the second, when we decide to print it out, is now shoveled. So we decide to shovel everything. It's shoveled. Good. So that is basically, but of course we cannot have a password in this form. So now what we have to do is that we have to convert all of these things to strings. Okay, so instead of it to be in a list, we convert it to strings. And how do we do that? What we can do is, and we can create something you can create an accumulator called password. So we're just going to save it as an empty string, so it's not going to contain anything. Then what we can do is to say for character in password list. So we're going to look through the password list. We'll look through this password list, and what we'll do is to pick each one and add it to the character. So something like this. And now let us print out our password. So we go out of that loop, then we print out our password. Print out our password. Now let's see what happens here. Alright, I want 5 letters, I want 4 symbols, and I want 3 digits. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so we have this, the first printout is not shoveled, the second printout is shoveled, then the third printout is is shoveled, but is no longer in the list. So when you check maybe you're trying to sign up for anything, you're trying to sign up for any program and you're asked to get a password. So this is one way to generate a password using a Python code. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay, like the video, share, and don't forget to drop your comment. And if there's anything you feel like you can add to it, no problem. The script is going to be on my GitHub, so you can get the file in case you want to practice. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.